Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to NPTEL's course on communication skills. This is module number 7, lecture number 3 on group discussion. So far we have talked about what is group discussion, why there is group discussion. Group discussion has become a very important elimination tool in terms of selecting, rejecting candidates who are then taken for interview. Group discussion has also become a very important tool in identifying certain personality traits that are required for corporate jobs. So, keeping this view in mind, we try to understand what is group discussion. I try to tell the difference between group discussion and other activities such as debate, interviews, where group discussion is basically a very unstructured activity, and structure is something that is given by somebody who will emerge as a natural leader. He is the one who is giving the time plan, he is the one who is giving the schedule, he is giving the procedure. So, he is also exhibiting himself as a person with a vision. He is taking the team along with him, so that the team is able to achieve the goal of arriving at a consensus at the end of the discussion. Now, once we have discussed this much, now we want to know what are some tips. So, what are the ways in which one can go ahead with group discussion? So, after why group discussion, what is group discussion, and then after discussing certain evaluation criteria, now we will discuss about ensuring success in group discussions. Now, there are some expressions which one can remember, which one can use it again and again, which can be used to initiate a discussion, which one should know. Suppose it is used, it can also kill a discussion. So, we call them as killers and igniters. Now, if you look at the slide that I have, on the left side I have all discussion killers which will actually deter discussion and creativity. On the right side I have all discussion igniters. So, which expressions when used will actually encourage a very creative climate in the discussion. Look at the one on the left hand side. Phrases like that will never work will actually deter the discussion. It will pour cold water on the discussion. Whereas, look at a phrase like that's good, that's excellent, that's a very interesting idea, that will actually ignite the discussion. Look at something like that's crazy, that's stupid, that's idiotic. Now, look at something like I agree, that's an interesting idea. Now, see the difference. The one actually kills, the other one actually ignites. It sets the motion. Now, look at the one on the left side. That's not practical, suggesting that it's not possible. Now, on the right side, that's a great idea. We can think about it. We can discuss further on this idea. Look at on the left side, let's get back to. Now, this is just taking back the discussion after it has progressed to some extent. Now, look at on the other side, I am glad that you brought that up. Let's continue further instead of taking it back. Now, on the left side, look at the killer, you are wrong. Very blatantly, outrightly saying you are wrong. Look at on the right side, you are on the right track. Probably you would tell how right the person is, but then you start by saying that you are on the right track. It's encouraging. Now, on the left side, again look at some other killers. You don't know what you are talking about, indicating that the other person is stupid, nonsense. On the right side, you see, I never thought of that. That's quite interesting. I could never think of such an idea. How nicely you have brought about that idea. And this side, outright saying that's ridiculous. Instead of that, the other person on the right side says, we can do a lot with that idea. Encouraging, igniting. Last but not the least, no, that's not what I am talking about. Now, just opposing the person, saying that you don't understand what I am telling, so that is not what I am talking about. On this side, the other person is encouraging, and then he says, really good. Anyone else having such an idea? Let us think further about this. Now, the best possible attitude that we can have as far as GD is concerned in our overall framework is this. You should have this kind of attitude whenever you are arguing, discussing, debating in the GD. You are right, but I am not wrong. You are right, but I am not wrong. This attitude creates and promotes a win-win situation. So, what does it mean? Group discussion is not the place, just like debate, where there is a fight and then there are heated arguments, and then there is always a feeling that one should win over the other. Now, in group discussion, there is no such fight, there is no such anxiety to win one person over the other. Now, here you should create a win-win situation, you should promote, you should generate a win-win situation. And how could that be created? If you have the attitude, if you promote the attitude, you are right. So, you are never saying the other person that you are wrong, you are 100% wrong, but you say that you are right, but I am not wrong. So, probably to the extent that you say this, I fully agree with you, but to the second part of your argument, I have my own apprehensions because of the fact, and then you start illustrating your facts, and then slowly try to convince the other person that he is perhaps right, but you are also not wrong. So, you may have differing views, but then you try to, instead of polarizing, arrive at a conclusion. So, keep this attitude, you are right, but I am not wrong. Now, there are some common pitfalls, limitations, which actually if people tend to ignore, will definitely not make them get through in a GD. What are the most common pitfalls? Now, there are some people, if you give them a mic, they will start to lecture, they will tend to sermonize. So, the tendency to sermonize, thinking that they are giving a sermon as if it is a church and then they are just preaching somebody, they will think that they are the ones who have all the ideas, and then they will start trying monopolizing the whole thing, and they start sermonizing. So, this tendency to sermonize should be avoided. Then sometimes people will be very anxious to talk too much. On the one hand, as a positive group discussion tip, I would also tell you that you should maximize your participation, which means you should try to create a feeling that you have expressed your views to the maximum possible compared to other candidates. Now, this is on the one hand, but on the other hand, you should not appear to be too anxious to talk too much. So, every small opportunity, or even when there is no opportunity, you are trying to snatch your opportunity and try to talk too much. So, that anxiety to talk too much should be curbed. Then the opposite, on the one hand people are anxious to talk too much, but on the other hand there are some who are very nervous and they talk little or almost they do not talk at all. Now, this is again a problematic situation. In the first elimination round, the judges will be told to just to eliminate the candidates who never spoke a word. Now, if you happen to be one among them with wonderful ideas, but you thought that you would wait for your turn and you are quite nervous even when your turn came and you just mumbled and you never said anything, you are the first one to be rejected from the GD. So, keep this in mind. Even if you are nervous, you should try to speak something. You should control that nervousness and try to say something. So, if you are nervous and if you talk little, so it is a serious limitation in group discussion. Then there are people who are self-centered, who always think about themselves. So, they tend to monopolize. They will not let anybody speak. So, that self-centered nature should be avoided, because when the person is self-centered, what the person will do is he will fail to involve everyone. So, group discussion is something that where you are participating, at the same time you are eliciting participation and views from all others. But it is not a public speaking, it is not a debate kind of situation where you present yourself and then you try to monopolize everything. So, keep that in mind. Then there are people who tend to become digressive. They will be digressive but not progressive. What does it mean? For any slight point that has been produced, immediately they will start telling so many other related stories. They will get digressed. Sometimes they go with relevant points, sometimes the points are totally irrelevant. So, they do this and then they finally lose the main thread, and what happens at the end is, instead of making the GD progress towards a consensus, they will actually make the GD regress, go back. So, the time is wasted, not only their time, they are also wasting the time of other participants. So, you should be progressive, not digressive. And then what is the other pitfall? There are some people who cannot summarize or conclude. They either for the reason they always think that they need to speak more, there is so many other points to cover up, so they do not summarize, or just for the reason that they do not know how to condense the whole matter in a nutshell and present it very quickly in the form of a summary. Now, summarizing is very important, because after 10 minutes, if somebody will get up and summarize the points very briefly, this person is going to get some credit. And same way, if somebody is trying to make everybody conclude, especially within the time limit that is given, again the person will get some credit. So, summarizing and conclusion is important, but somebody who cannot do this, it is a serious limitation and one should work on that. Then there are people or person who will neither share views nor is open to contrary viewpoints. So, they always think that sharing my views, so I should keep those views to myself. So, my views are better. So, I should not make others know what I am thinking about this thing. Now, if that is the attitude, the person is losing points. At the same time, the person is also not open to contrary viewpoints. Rigidity of thinking, which we talked about as one of the barriers to communication. Rigidity of thinking, the mind is blocked already, the person is not able to accept viewpoints from others. Especially if it is contrary, it is pinching on his ego, the person is not able to take any contrary viewpoints. Neither expressing his views nor accepting any contrary viewpoints is a major pitfall. Then about body language, some people have very distractive body language. So, doing something that is capturing the attention of other persons for wrong reasons, not for the right reasons. So, such distractive body language, such as trying to play with the purse that is in hand or play with the pen that is at hand. So, that can distract the other person's attention for wrong reasons. So, such things shouldn't be done. And the major pitfall, last but not the least, is indifference, and then showing a kind of spectator behavior. Indifference, showing apathy, not participating in it on the one hand, and on the other hand showing a spectator kind of behavior. Instead of showing that I am a participant, the person shows that he is just like a spectator among the audience. So, he is not there to watch other participants performing, he is there to perform himself. So, sometimes people do not do that, they tend to have this attitude. Now, these are the most common pitfalls. Now, once you have understood this much, now let us look at some interesting points which will definitely ensure success in GDs. If you observe these norms or take them as serious rules, criteria, and then remember them, repeat them, use them, and then review them, so you will be definitely ensuring success in GDs. Now, let us look at them one by one. The first and the topmost one is initiation. Whenever you are in the GD, try to initiate and generate the discussion. So, if you are given the opportunity, or if you could snatch the opportunity to speak first, so do not hesitate, do it. Speak first and then express your views. but at the same time try to consistently add more points, try to argue out your viewpoint, maintain your stance consistently throughout till the conclusion. So, initiate, do not wait for somebody to get up and start the discussion, you be the one to generate the discussion. So, as a leader you will be exhibiting this very good quality in you and you get right away 10 points at the beginning itself. Then be assertive but not aggressive. Now, many people make a kind of, instead of making a difference, they think that being assertive and being aggressive, it would mean one and the same, but actually they mean different. When a person is aggressive, the person is actually very rude, the person is insecure, the person is trying to dominate, the person is trying to impose his ideas very forcefully, treating others as his subordinates or as his weaker fellow participants, but this person has a bossy dominating idea and he would like to bulldoze his viewpoints. But a person who is assertive will also do same thing, will also forcefully put his viewpoints, but without that rudeness. This person will be polite, whereas the aggressive person is impolite because the aggressive person is basically insecure. Now, the assertive person is firm but polite, is firm but polite, is firm and determined to send his viewpoints across the other audience, and he will not stop, he cannot be deterred by any other opposing viewpoints. He will put his views politely, and even if an aggressive person is trying to make him submit, make him submissive, this person will not yield so easily. He will again politely repeat his point, he will again try to express his viewpoints. So, the assertive person is not giving up so easily, but he does it in a very polite manner. The aggressive person is very rude, impolite, can use unparliamentary language. Generally, this is coming out of his own insecurity. I will also talk about one book in the reference which generally makes a distinction between being assertive and being aggressive. So, right now you know being assertive is a very good trait, not being aggressive. Then avoid blocking. What do I mean by blocking? Now, suppose somebody is coming forward with a very interesting idea. So, you just get up and you say, I do not agree with you. No, you are just preventing the person to go ahead. Okay. Now, after that what do? You just say, you just try to convince me. So, he tells you something, you say, no, I still do not agree with you. Okay. What should I tell you to make you agree with my viewpoint? No, I can't tell you, but you tell me, you do something to convince me. Now, you are slowly trying to block the other person, and you are neither allowing him to come out with his own views, nor you are expressing your views, you are just blocking. So, avoid this blocking. Then be a patient but active listener. Patient but active listener. What does it mean? Now, patiently wait, patiently just listen to others, but listen to others in a very active manner. So, do not be a sort of listener who overhears certain things, but does not pay enough attention. So, you miss the main point. Do not be a marginal listener, be an active listener. Listen to all the points, and if you are allowed to carry some papers or a small notebook, note down important points as a listener, so that you can recollect those points next time when your turn comes. And do not use unparliamentary language or use only parliamentary language. What is parliamentary language? The language that is considered formal, the language that is permissible, the language that is decent and not abusive. You cannot use 4-lettered words, you cannot use abusive words, you cannot even use words which will make fun of others. So, you have to be very careful about those words. In debates, minus points are given. In some GDs, even the judges will decide for language content, especially if it is abusive, they will again reduce marks for the language. So, take note of this. So, do not use unparliamentary language, use parliamentary language. Be analytical and fact oriented. Do not say anything without giving a thought to it. Be analytical. Analyze the situation, analyze the point that the other person is making in your mind, and then come out with some facts, either to corroborate that, or even if you want to say something against, come out with some facts. So, do not just say just like that, I disagree because of certain things, but then can you factually point out, you say no, I do not have any facts. So, be analytical and at the same time fact oriented. Seek clarifications. If you do not know something, absolutely there is no problem. Although I said that knowledge is power, it is not possible that you will be able to own, you will be able to know everything that is there in the world. That is not absolutely possible. So, how much you know, there is always so much that you do not know. So, be humble, and then if you do not know something, if you do not understand something, seek clarifications. You can say that, a friend, can you explain that in different words, or do you mean to say this, or I am not able to understand this, can you make it clearer for me perhaps? So, these things would make the other person put it in a different manner, and you will be able to understand it better. Before you respond in a hurry and in a superficial manner, just seek clarifications. Accept criticism. Now, if somebody is attacking your viewpoint, so do not feel bad about it, and especially if you are giving a factual error and somebody is pointing out, accept it. So, accept criticism, and if you have to interfere sometimes, if you have to say something because something is going so wrong and you need to interfere, do not hesitate, do not be afraid. Interfere forcefully but politely. May I say something? If I may interfere, excuse me, I would like to strongly disagree with this viewpoint. So, enter forcefully but politely. Use all polite manners, but at the same time be forceful. Especially when the situation is demanding, do not sit quiet, because you are going to lose points for just sitting quiet. And avoid attention seeking. What is attention seeking behavior? Now, let us say somebody is talking about population control. Okay, there is a situation like this and the topic is on population. Now, suddenly somebody gets up and says that, oh, what about AIDS? So, we need to talk about AIDS also. Now, everybody is quite surprised why somebody is talking about AIDS. Now, let us say there is a topic on feminism. Suddenly somebody is getting up and saying that we should talk about gay rights also, the rights for homosexuals, they should be allowed to get married and all that. Now, this is attention seeking behavior. The topic does not demand that you talk about certain things which are sensational otherwise, but in order to seek attention, what you are doing is you are trying to pull the audience, the crowd towards you, so that you have a selfish gratification that everybody is looking at you, all their eyes are on you, but actually you are doing it for a very wrong and negative reason, and you are totally distracting the main thrust of the GD. Now, as I said before, another way to ensure success in GD is to maximize participation. Speak as much as possible, listen as attentively as possible, even when you are sometimes not able to express your ideas, just for the fact that you are a very active listener, you are given credit. So, maximize participation. Generally, we say that speech is silver and silence is golden, but as far as GDs are concerned, silence is not golden. So, you will be rather penalized for your silence. So, no philosophical silence, no meditative silence in GD. GD is not meant for that. So, here is a place where you have to be very fully vigilant, you have to contribute fully, you have to contribute vigorously, and you have to contribute steadily and consistently, and maximize. If you could maximize up to 55 to 60%, even 45%, when the rest of the team is contributing to 50 to 55. So, you have maximized, you have made a kind of impact among the judges that you have at least expressed your ideas to the maximum possible. At the same time, when you are trying to maximize your participation, respect other speakers. What does it mean? Now, they may come out with some differences of opinion when you are expressing your views, but that does not mean that they are either inferior to you or they are superior to you. So, respect their viewpoints, give due attention to their interference, allow them to speak. Although I said that you try to maximize your participation, just overlooking them, just sidetracking them, bulldozing them will only fetch you negative points. Maximize your participation, but at the same time giving due respect to other speakers. And then show your leadership ability. How can you show that? You can show that just by for instance initiating the discussion. You can also show that by your ability to resolve certain conflicts. I said that conflict resolution skills, and trying to lead the group in a very harmonious manner. By that way also you will be able to show that you are a leader. Always keep in mind, overall they are testing a natural leader, and if you can show that you have all the potentials for becoming a natural leader, that is great. Then, having said that, do not act as a mere facilitator. I will just give a small example. How is that person is just facilitating? Let us say the person gets up and then says, friends, there are 10 of us, and I suggest that each one of us will speak for 1 minute first in the first round, and I will ask number 1 to speak, and I am number 10, and then we will start like this, and each one will speak for a minute. So, you start like that, and then you say that number 1 say something. So, 1 minute is over. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 9, and then when it comes to number 10 you say. So, all of you have nicely said all these things, you just quickly summarize that, and then you go to the next point where you are saying that now let us go to the next round, and you have actually not contributed anything. In the next round again you are saying we will start from number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5, and then you go for another round, and then you say okay, number 8 why not you summarize, number 7 why not you conclude. So, number 6 if you have any disagreement, I think you should agree with number 5, and so on. Now, you have done a very good facilitator job, but what you have not done is just trying to put forward your views as a leader. You have shown that you are capable of showing good management skills, but you are also showing that you can be just manager at the lowest level, but you can never become a pioneering leader because you are showing only the skills of a facilitator. So, do not act just as a mere facilitator. Avoid individual conversations. What does it mean? Sometimes you tend to like somebody, sometimes you like the idea of a person, or you just like the personality of a person. What do you do then? You just develop a conversation with that person who is just sitting next to you, or perhaps you are so shy, you do not want to speak aloud and you do not want to address somebody at the other part of the semicircle. So, what you do? You just sort of parallelly run another conversation situation which should be avoided. So, group discussion is discussion after all, it is conversation among a peer group, it is not between two persons. So, keep that in mind. And then although again when I said try to maximize your participation, be precise, talk to the point, talk forcefully, but talk to the point, and then just wind up very emphatically. Do not meander, be precise, be clear, and then and there possible summarize. This is a very important skill, summarizing. Sometimes people do not know what they have been talking for 1 hour if you ask them to tell just in 1 minute whatever they said so far. So, try to summarize. And another important point that you should keep in mind if you want to ensure success in GD is that you should maintain eye contact. Now, this eye contact should be maintained even when you are speaking, even when you are listening to somebody. So, try to maintain this eye contact and then control distractive negative body language. So, sometimes there will be some kind of negative body language, just as removing the pen from the pocket. So, you take the pen and then you look at the pen and then you open it and then close it, or you just scribble something, or you are just opening the pen. So, those kind of distractive negative body language should be controlled. And then last but not the least, keep smiling. So, keep a cheerful face and then exhibit a light-hearted frame of mind. If you think that you can joke, or if you can slightly make the situation light-hearted by telling a funny anecdote which makes everybody laugh, you are actually expressing a light-hearted side of yours which appeals to the audience and which makes them feel that you are a very approachable and accessible person. Compared to your very serious framework of mind, they also understand there is a light side to your personality. So, that helps you gain confidence among others, and then that helps you to gain some mileage just by expressing the feeling that you also have a tendency sometimes to make the situation very light. Now, having discussed all these points, now let us look at some of the topics. Okay. There are some topics which are locally used, which we call as campus topics. The topics which are generally used in colleges, especially to train students. Simple topics, easy topics are given, topics related to the institute. Now, for instance, one topic that we give to our students at IIT Kanpur is something like this: stopping internet connection from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m. at IIT Kanpur. That is actually the whole midnight. So, you can also read as that morning 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. that 6 hours, the night time, because students generally tend to spend more time browsing, more time playing with others using LAN connection during this time. Now, this is the topic. Now, students are given this topic so that they will be able to discuss very easily on this topic. But at the same time, they will also generate both kind of views, point and counterpoint. And then another common topic that is given in many colleges, many institutions nowadays is banning mobile phones inside the campus. So, some people will say that no, it should be banned only within the educational academic area, it should not be banned in hostels. Some people will say no, it should be banned in the whole academic area including hostel and so on. And then also this view that banning cars and bikes inside the campus, this again given as a mock GD topic. Then another topic that is given related to college, related to school situation is ragging is a necessary evil. So, you will find that first year students, when they join, they will say that ragging shouldn't be there, it is a crime. But when they become seniors, their attitude will change. The same person will say that yeah, ragging should be there and it should be treated as a necessary evil. Without it, how can we actually make the first year students respect the seniors and at the same time become intimate with the seniors? So, to maintain good relationship, we need to break that shell. They have to come out of their shell. So, we do this and so on. And then another campus topic that is again sometimes given even seriously is the one that love marriage versus arranged marriage. Okay. Sometimes even this is given as a debate topic. And then topics like reservation policy, time and again, topics like fee hike. Right now there is a talk that all IITs are going to increase the fee. Now, whether that is favorable or not. So, GDs can be given on such topics. Now, there are some evergreen topics. What do I mean by evergreen topics? Topics such as global warming, for instance. This is something that people have been talking for years and people will continue to talk about this, global warming and greenhouse effect. Topic such as euthanasia. So, things related to mercy killing. So, should it be there or not? Now, this again is a kind of evergreen topic. Now, why I am saying this? These are some topics you can always keep some material ready, keep preparing all the time, updating your knowledge all the time on this. Brain drain, for instance, this again we have been talking for decades and it is quite pertinent even today. So, there is mass exodus to foreign countries, and especially among the technical students, engineers who are trained with subsidy given by the government, but then can we really afford to that brain drain, or do we need that brain for our country? And then you can also have standard topic such as TV, is it a boon or bane, or computer, is it a boon or bane, internet, is it a boon or bane, mobile, is it a boon or bane. These are all again evergreen topics. Keep updating your knowledge about this. You can talk about this anytime. And another evergreen topic is caste system in India. As long as we are not going to manage this in India, this will again be a kind of evergreen topic. So many suicides, so many deaths, so many killings, honor killings are happening because of this. And then women emancipation. How advanced women have become today, even then it's a kind of evergreen topic. Anytime you can be made to discuss on this. And then globalization versus nationalism. Should you be very patriotic? Should you not leave your country? Should you not join MNCs? Should you be so protective about the culture of your country? Should you not accept something that is global? Should you not eat in McDonald's being an Indian? Should you eat only your own food? And so on. Globalization versus nationalism. And then cyber crime. What do we mean by cyber crime? There are so many types. Now, under cyber crime itself, they can specifically ask some other topics. They can generate topics. For instance, recently we heard that a very popular actress's face has been morphed and then put with another body with the bikini, and then that made the cover page. Now, this is a cyber crime. Now, you are doing some kind of criminal activity using some computer devices on the cyberspace using internet. Then again, stealing of identities, email identities, stealing one's identity from Facebook and other social network, hacking very important information. Now, all these things will come under cybercrime. And yet another evergreen topic is cloning. Cloning, whether it is related to human cloning or even cloning animals, etc. So, that is again another evergreen topic, because this is again rising into certain ethical concerns and questions also. So, when I say cloning, there can be technical GD on cloning as such, as a kind of bioengineering tool. It can also be related to ethical questions. Should we allow cloning in India, etc. So, you can have evergreen topics, campus topics, which you can prepare yourself. Now, having understood this, I will also talk about some more topics which are oft repeated topics. In the next few slides, I will talk about those topics. Some more suggested topics. When the government was running by coalition politics, you can have a topic like, is coalition politics here to stay? And general topic like, does India need a dictator? India seems to be a very soft country. Does it need a dictator? Is India moving away from a secularist state? Education in India or the lack of it. So, this is again a sort of evergreen topic that all the time there can be something related to education, because the kind of educational system that we have, so that has been borrowed from the colonial system. So, the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of it can always be questioned. What ails Indian sports? They say that something like the killer spirit is lacking sometimes. So, generally what is wrong with Indian sports? Some question related to sports. Then the age of information, always questions related to internet, computer, development in technology. Is philosophy just an armchair theory? Now, subject related question, something like philosophy, is it just an armchair theory Is it just only theoretic, meditative, and doesn't have any functional or practical value? Success is all about human relations. So, again things to do with developing human relations, and then somebody said that success is not something that you give to yourself, success is something that others give it to you. So, if you have better human relationships, you have better chances for success. So, is success all about human relations? Borderless words, dream or reality? Right now, so many worlds are in a kind of Cold War like situation because of border disputes. Now, can we really have a world without borders when we are talking about globalization? Can we cut across borders? Can we go beyond boundaries? Or will it be just a dream, or will it become reality? Quality is a myth in India. There can be always a question on quality, because there can be other questions related to quality, like in India we generally go for low quality. So, questions like that can be also given for GD topics. Education and success, is there a correlation? Now, here one has to bring in lot of personality types who have become only because of the fact that they were highly educated, or because of the fact that they were not educated, but then they have become highly successful despite the fact that they did not have education. So, one should again go for lot of background study, such as reading biographies, reading autobiographies, knowing more about people apart from knowing how they have reached a position, knowing their success story, what made them reach that level. Then we do not learn from history, we repeat it. Now, so many train accidents, for instance, derailment, or tsunami, for instance, or some political turmoil. Now, every time it happens, it not just happens, it repeats with much more intensity. So, generally there is a saying that we do not learn from it, we just repeat it. We are not prepared for it even when it is going to recur. Do we need a global policeman? Do we need somebody at the global level to control the world affairs? Indian villages, our strength or our weaknesses? Now, immediately people will tend to talk about villages as our strength, but today there is mass migration from villages to cities. So, one has to be very careful about this kind of argument. Agrarian economy in India, boon or bane? The agricultural economy, is it a boon or bane? If there are no armies in the world, now there could be n number of topics beginning with if there were, or if there was, or if you were so and so, if you happen to do this. So, be prepared for such questions which are hypothetical, but nonetheless testing your factual knowledge of current affairs, factual knowledge of your background studies related to the subject. Then Indian customs, are we in a time warp? Maybe because of globalization, maybe because of Western influence. Are we in a time warp, or are we supposed to wind up our customs and culture? How green was my valley? Is nature paying the price? Again, about environmental pollution. There was a time the valley was green, now it is completely polluted. So, there is so much related to pollution again. Management education, is it necessary to succeed in business? Now, there is a beeline just going to business schools. Now, are we really supposed to go towards this direction, thinking all the time to succeed in business, or are there other things to do in the country? The role of NGOs in economics and politics, there can be something related to the non-government organizations like this, or NGOs, do they serve people's interest, or are they pressure groups? So, sometimes NGOs put lot of pressure on the government, lot of pressure on the people. So, what are they actually doing? So, you can have differing viewpoints on this. Death of socialism. So, there were times when Marxist tendencies were predominating in some parts of the country. Now, times are changing. People are slowly moving towards capitalist kind of setup. Now, is it the death of socialism? Role of women in development. As I said before also, there can be so many questions, so many topics related to women emancipation, development. kids today are not what they used to be. Now this again is a sort of topic that can be asked in different forms about children, about young generation being corrupted, being spoilt, costless India a pipe dream. So again questions related to cost, topic related to that, and then imagining that just like a borderless world, imagining that costless India, is it a pipe dream? It will be just a dream, it will never be realized. Should trade unionism be banned in India? So sometimes trade unionism in the name of actually serving people, workers, actually they mar productivity. And should a developing country like India ban such unionism? Repeated elections, should taxpayers pay for it? So anytime you have elections, the money is going through taxpayers. So should they pay for it, or do you have some kind of money that is pooled in only for election? Indian bureaucracy, foundation strengths or colonial hangovers? So is it high time we change the bureaucratic setup, or we go over with the colonial setup that's left? In India, the whole is less than the parts. Do we lack the team spirit? So people work in parts fantastically, but then when it comes to the whole, so that's less. So do we try to inculcate something to do with team spirit? Generation X, drivers of our future, or are they our lost souls? So are they really taking the society ahead, the next generation, or are they lost their souls already? Do we need a cut in the defense budget? So should we really go for war? Then we need to increase the budget. Should we make peace? Then we should reduce it. And should we go for a defense budget increase, especially when we need so much money to take care of poverty in the country? .com companies, is there room for everyone? Now these companies, are they really segregating the ones who are able to use computer, who are techno savvy, and are they trying to segregate those who are not? Are they giving chances to everybody? Is there equality, or are they trying to put a kind of supreme group which is intellectually and then technically superior than rest of the people? So, and then artificial intelligence, will man be ever replaced by machines? So again a kind of topic which can be asked differently in different forms, man versus machine. Then if I were to choose my person of the millennium, whom would I choose and why? All the world is a stage, indicating that we are mere actors, we have nothing to do. Maybe you can subscribe to fate, maybe you can subscribe to a very strong dominating political system that's controlling everybody. Materialism, have we sold our souls to the devil? So increasingly as the world is becoming globalized, people have become very greedy and materialistic. Everything is done for money. Have we really lost our souls? You have come a long way, baby, the rise and rise of feminist power. Just told before also that women emancipation is a kind of evergreen topic. Questions related to feminism as such can be there. Role of ethics in tobacco industry, liquor industry, etc. On the one hand, we say that cigarettes, for instance, can cause cancer, but on the other hand, we also seem to promote such industries just for the kind of money that is adding to our exchequer. Now when that is the situation, what about the ethics that is involved in this? Should gambling be legalized in India and so many other illegal activities? Should that be legalized? Because when it is illegal, so there are so many other ethical and other corrupt problems associated with that. Are we unfit for democracy? The other topic that we had in relation to this is, should we need a dictator to rule the country? Survival tools for the new millennium. So for instance, today moving without a mobile, not having an email ID. So these are all seen to be things which actually makes a person alive. Now you cannot say that I don't have an email ID, I don't have a mobile, and so on. So these are some survival tools for the new millennium and so on. Are they good, are they bad, or there are some ethical implications? examinations as it's killed education. So, students have a feeling that our education system is all about examination, only mugging up, answering the questions, but not really about developing inquisitiveness, arising one's curiosity, and then trying to make one bring out that inherent genius, that spark. It's actually killing the spark. Examination system is actually killing it. Should doctors be tried in consumer courts? So, we are trying so many people, but then when doctors, especially if there is a mishappening, forgetting the scissor inside the stomach during the surgery. Now, should the person be tried in consumer court? Yes and no. Abortion and euthanasia, is it morally right for society? Mercy killing or aborting a baby just because you don't want it or you don't want to grow that economically, and so on. Another related topic is this female feticide. Knowing that it is female and then killing it in the fetus itself. So, that is another topic related to this. Or beauty pageants necessary. Should we be beauty conscious? Should we let world level organizations to run beauty pageants in our country? The relevance of Gandhiism today. Can somebody really follow the principles of Gandhi and survive in this information age and a world that is becoming increasingly corrupt and then becoming highly influenced by Western norms? Did India handle the hijack issue properly? Actually, this is a topic that was a burning topic related to the burning issue when a flight was hijacked. Now, such burning issues can also form group discussion topics. Is e-commerce the best thing for India? So, where there is space crunch, can we go for internet trading using internet? So, these are some suggested topics which one can use, prepare, plan, revise and all that. Now, once you are getting used to these kind of topics, which will also give you a fairly good idea as what kind of topic you can expect in the GD. Before I conclude the module as such, we have been talking about GD in now 3 lectures, and this lecture is the concluding one. And before I conclude, I would like to sum up by giving some practical tips. Okay. Some of the points I would like to repeat and some of the points I would like to re-emphasize, and some points are just new. The first and foremost one is related to body language. Maintain eye contact throughout the GD. Now, people think that when somebody is talking, you can look at some other place, okay, or when somebody is looking at you and saying something, you can look at your note and write, you need not face. Now, as far as possible, maintain eye contact whether you speak or whether you are a listener. In both cases, you try to maintain that eye contact. Then, avoid distractive and negative body language. What are some distractive and negative body languages? For example, when somebody is saying biting nails, shaking legs, or doing something with the fingers, picking nose, or playing with the ear, playing with pen. Okay. All are distractive body language gestures which should be avoided. Now, in some case in GD, they may give you very cozy chairs, very comfortable chairs. Sometimes the chairs are given so deliberately so that you feel so cozy, and then you just sit, and some people even doze off, they even sleep. Now, look at the posture that I have indicated here. Do not lean back in the chair. So, leaning back and then putting your hands clasped behind the head. Even if you are given such a chair, do not do that. The best position in a GD as well as in an interview is slight leaning forward and maintaining proper eye contact, especially looking at the person who is talking to you. So, that shows that you are interested, as against this gesture where when you are actually leaning and putting your leg like this, it is indicating so many things. Maybe you feel bossy, maybe you feel bored. Overall, it is indicating that you are arrogant, you are insensitive towards the feelings of others, you do not care about what others are thinking about you, it is showing disinterest. So, avoid this kind of posture And overall, don't be aggressive, be assertive. Don't be bossy, don't try to bully your points around, but try to be assertive, be polite but firm. Forcefully put your points, but be polite and firm. Let the people get a pleasant feeling. Let them not feel intimidated or threatened. When you are aggressive, people feel intimidated or threatened. And then sometimes people get too emotional in GDs. Can be girls, it can be boys. Sometimes girls feel hurt and they start even crying. Now, just avoid getting too emotional in GDs and try to be impersonal. It's a kind of intellectual stimulated interaction, nothing to do with heart. So, even if somebody is attacking your points, it's nothing to do with your personal feelings. So, even if somebody is personally attacking, you can politely, gently point out that the person has every right to disagree with your view, but not make fun of your personality, some personal traits in you. Now, this emotional intensity can be controlled if you have enough training at home. So, what should you do? Then I would suggest that you form small like-minded groups in colleges or near your home surroundings. Now, just like you, there are some who are interested in preparing for GD. Now, contribute a small group, identify topics, generate your own topics, but each day even 15 minutes to half an hour if you spend, and if you could spend for about 1 month, okay, that itself is a very thorough preparation for GD. Definitely you will be through. Now, in certain colleges, there is no proper training program, there is no interest among the management administrators. What do you do in such situation? You take the initiative, you bring this idea to the institute, you tell them that you should have GD cell. So, and you will be the pioneer, you will run group discussion, you will generate topics, you will select people, and then even you can ask people to contribute some money. So, for the winning team or the winning person, the one who is emerging as a leader, you can give some token prizes. So, that will encourage the student, but at the same time, when you do this, when you take the initiative, you are also developing the so called leadership skills. You are coordinating, cooperating with other people, and implicitly you are imbibing some qualities which will definitely ensure success in GDs. And then do not prepare for GD just the day before the GD is announced. You should do that, but of course, don't do just the day before, prepare as and when possible. Like as I am telling, next year there is a GD, at least now you should have started. And then GD as well as interview preparation is a lifetime preparation. It's not something that's done overnight. So, as and when you get time, you start preparing, and GD, let it be fun. Learn the skills of GD in a very funny manner. Form your own group. So, topics such as ragging is a necessary evil, love marriage or arranged marriage. So, these topics can actually generate interest among anybody. Anybody will be interested in in discussing on these topics. Then, when you are reading, let us say some book like Career and Competition Times or India Today or even Week, Frontline. So, when you are looking at some articles, read that with interest and purpose. Do not give a superficial reading. Remember that any topic can come from this magazine next time when you go for a GD. Assuming that you try to keep some of the points in mind whenever you are reading, and if you can take some notes on some topics, and if you can brush up those notes before going to GD, you will be much more prepared than other participants. Keep listening, be an active listener. So, that means open your eyes, ears all the time, okay, looking at the body language, send it to your mind, listen through your ears, keep listening, and then listen with an open mind. Don't have rigid thinking. Let good thoughts come from all sides. Whomever is sending you good thoughts, accept it. So, do not abstract that in your mind. At the same time, learn to accept criticisms. Now, somebody is pointing out fault in you, accept it. Be thankful to the person for pointing it out. And at the same time, learn to develop a thick skin. Now, try to develop a kind of immunity that it will not go and penetrate you at heart, but it will give you positive feedback at mind to develop your skills. Look for and generate creative ideas. So, bring out original ideas. Keep honing your communication skills. It's not enough that you are able to express your ideas succinctly and then you are able to speak better than others. Be the most excellent model. Keep honing, keep improving your communication skills every time you are participating in the GD. Learn some new words every day. Monitor your performance using feedback from friends or from your own video recording. If you don't have friends, if you don't have positive feedback giving friends, at least record your own video. Look at some of the negative gestures, try to avoid them. See whether your tone is too low and try to increase it, and so on. By looking at your own self, you will be able to learn much. And if you have good friends and if they are able to give you good feedback, take the feedback and try to work on those feedback. And do not wait to change your personality once you get a particular job. So, do not think that I will start wearing formal dress. Do not think that I will wear that particular kind of dress that is suited for that job, but start wearing that, start behaving in such a manner even before you get that. Assume that personality. So, that will again make you gain a kind of cutting edge in the GDs, the way you are dressing. And last but not the least, and finally, go with the winning attitude. So, having done so much preparation, having learned so many things from these 3 lectures, and then having done some homework from your end, and then practicing, repeated practicing and learning from the feedback, now you should not have a kind of defeated attitude. Go with that winning attitude. Be sure that you are going to win in the GD, and that will give you a very positive frame of mind. That will also make you have a cutting edge. Your mind will be very spontaneous, creative, open. It will not have any negative chatter. So, go with that winning attitude. Now, overall, when we talk about the whole module, you should have learnt and understood by this time why group discussion, why do we need this. So, as I said, either if you want to go for promotion in a higher job or even to seek a new job, you need GD. If you are interested in higher education, again you need GD. And then what is group discussion? Basically a very unstructured activity, but they are looking for natural leaders who are going to structure it, give a time plan, give a vision, give a destination, who is able to lead the team. Basically it is about cooperation and coordination, and then there are certain skills which are required. People are not only trying to eliminate candidates, but they are also interested in identifying certain personality traits by which they can actually really identify the leader who is very much needed in their organization. I also talked about certain evaluation criteria including personality, communication skills, knowledge and so on, and I also identified some minor traits related to that, and finally I gave you lot of tips related to ensuring success in GDs. Now, next time when you go for a GD, quickly brush up these lectures and some of the tips which were given at the end of this lecture, and then keep some of the points in your mind, ruminate over them. Certain points will not be implemented immediately. Sometimes you go, you feel that you are not able to do everything in that, never mind, but then that's always a next time where you feel better. So, go once again with that winning attitude, and there are further references. Although there is no full-fledged book dealing with all these things, if you are more interested in reading some more, I said at the beginning that there is a book that is dealing with the basic difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness. That is this book, Don't Say Yes When You Want to Say No. This is nothing to do with GD, but then it is something to do with developing a personality that can become assertive and minimize aggression. And then there are books related to preparing for group discussion and interview, and then there are books dealing with technical communication but has a chapter on group discussion, and then there is a website where the topics are given with answers also. With these references, I think you will be fully equipped to do a GD. Thank you so much and wish you all the very best and all success in GDs. Thank you.